All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're demystifying the literal physical spaces we inhabit every single day. We constantly pass by, live inside, and work within real estate, but we rarely step back to examine the structural categories that actually define it all. So let's break down the 5 fundamental types of property. Okay, let's lay out a quick structural roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll nail down exactly what real estate is. Then we'll zoom in on the 5 main property types, and we'll wrap up by looking at the real estate profession itself. So, part 1, defining real estate. Now, I know when you hear the term real estate, you probably just picture a typical suburban house, right? But the physical scope is actually so much broader than that. It's literally a 3-dimensional block of the physical world. It encompasses not just the land and buildings, but the underground rights way below the surface, and the air rights all the way up above it. It's the whole shebang. Just to anchor us with some precise terminology, Wikipedia defines real estate as property consisting of land, the buildings on it, and its natural resources, things like crops, minerals, or water. But honestly, the absolute operational word here is immovable. If you are dealing with immovable property of this nature, boom, you are in the real estate business. So the crucial point is that this immovable trait is exactly what separates real estate from your everyday personal property. While buildings and land are permanently anchored down, personal assets, your clothes, boats, vehicles, tools, or furniture, those are all movable. So they are explicitly not real estate. Moving right along to part 2, the 5 property types. Now, what's really interesting about this is how neatly our physical world categorizes into 5 distinct buckets. We've got residential for living, commercial for business, industrial for manufacturing, special purpose for specific public needs, and finally, undeveloped land. Let's actually unpack each of these. First up, residential real estate. It is exactly what it sounds like, property designed for living. Your homes. It spans an incredibly rich spectrum, everything from sprawling country villas and townhouses, all the way to high-rise apartments, condos, classic single-family homes, and duplexes. But keep in mind, there is a strict regulatory wall here. You can't just arbitrarily decide to run a heavy manufacturing plant out of a residential townhouse. Commercial real estate operates under totally different zoning rules. And because those business properties operate at a much larger scale, the financial investments and the potential returns naturally scale up right along with them. So what exactly makes up commercial real estate? Well, this is where we trade, where we work, and where we do business. Think of the shops you visit for your groceries, the huge offices where companies operate, and yep, even the car parks you use when you visit those locations. Moving from where we do business to where we actually build and create things, we find industrial real estate. This category refers specifically to property used for factories, focusing on heavy manufacturing and production. But it also includes those massive plots of land used for storage and the giant distribution centers that ship products right to your front door. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, it also includes R&D, research and development. Those highly secure campuses where engineers are busy testing the next generation of tech or pharmaceuticals, those sit squarely within the industrial category. Then we have special purpose real estate. This is kind of the industry's catch-all category, and honestly, it creates some really weird bedfellows. It's property designed for highly specialized, often public-facing use. That means government buildings, schools, and religious temples literally share the exact same real estate classification as public parks, libraries, cemeteries, amusement parks, museums, oil wells, mines, railroads, and even golf courses. Pretty wild, right? Finally, we reach our 5th category, straight-up land. You can think of this as the great blank canvas of the real estate world. It's raw or vacant land purchased for future development. It encompasses active farms, vast tracts of timberland, rural campsites, hunting and fishing lands, or just completely undeveloped wilderness. Okay, let's move to and see how this all builds into our 3rd and final section, the real estate profession. So the human element, the gatekeepers of this physical world who manage, buy, and sell these assets, they actually go by different titles, depending on your geography. In North America, you'll work with a realtor or a real estate agent, while over in the UK, the equivalent professional is simply called an estate agent. Naturally, handling these incredibly valuable, immovable assets comes with a real barrier to entry. For example, if you want to become a realtor in the US, the structured path requires 2 specific steps. First, taking a mandatory pre-licensing course to learn all the complex laws and regulations, and second, successfully passing a formal exam to earn your license. It's fascinating when you realize that literally every building you enter today started out as that fifth category, raw, undeveloped land. So, as you look at the vacant spaces in your own city today, ask yourself, which of those other four property types is it destined to become? And how will that future development permanently alter the physical world around us next? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll catch you next time.